Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out Purple Black King. This is from OP08, so there will be some spoilers. I have done a total review of all of the new OP08 cards. And yeah, we're going to mess around with those leaders for a little bit just because it's something fun, it's something new, it's something exciting. At least for some of us. I understand if you don't like to see this kind of content, don't worry, I will be going back to the OP07 stuff soon, even though that's in our future in the West. But that's coming out very soon. I will talk about that in this video. They've released like an official release date for it, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, so let me give you guys a quick layout how this video is going to go. First up, we are going to talk about the update of when OP07 is going to come out for us in the West. That'll be the first thing we look at. Then second, we're going to check out King. We're going to do a pretty comprehensive deck builder's guide style of video on Purple Black King in OP08. We're going to see what kind of lists are already available to us in the East. And then we'll go from there into 5 games on the sim that I did with this leader. And I'm going to take the leader in a slightly different direction that they are in the East. But we'll have to see what works out best. You know, this is brand new, uncharted territory, which is really awesome. Players like myself, deck builders like myself, we love when there's like a blank canvas, like, all right, let's figure it out. Let's see what works best. So we're going to see we'll check out some games on the sim, like I said. From there, we'll check out what deck I was using in those sim games, and we'll kind of critique it, do some final thoughts from there. And then we will wrap up the video with another art critique card. Okay, this time I think we're doing... I can't even remember her name. Toki? Something like that, guys. I probably butchered it. Hang on, I got it right here. Her name is Toki. Yeah, I got it right. Okay, that was that was actually more of a guess than anything, but hey, we got there. We got it right. We'll be going over, I believe it's OP02's Toki. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. We got a lot to talk about. So first up, like I said, we do have to talk about the official release date for OP07 for us in the West, because it is very soon, guys. Mark it down in your calendar, June 28th. Now remember, the bans for Kouzuki, Great Eruption, and Reject are going to be June 21st. So that is probably when the pre-release stuff's going to be. It's usually the week before, right? So this is released and like legalized, however you want to say it, on June 28th. It's going to be ready to go, good to go. Says the MSRP is at $4.50 a pack. We'll see if that holds true. Okay, I have no control over that, y'all know. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, again, mark it down in your calendars, guys. June 28th, very, very soon, guys. That is, I'm recording this video on 6/2, so June 2nd. This is literally just about 3 to 4 weeks away. About 3 to 4 weeks away for us over here in the West. So very, very exciting. Okay, that was just a quick little announcement. Next up, we're going to be talking about King, right? The bulk of this video is going to be about King. This is a brand new leader coming out in OP08. I will link down in the comments section below the full review I did of the OP08 cards, especially for Purple and Black, which this leader, is a dual-colored leader for. So if you want to check those out, you'll be able to click on those down below. Excuse me. But this leader, let me read what he does, and then let's talk about some deck lists from the East that we can check out and see how well it's doing and see what kind of ideas we can get from it. So first off, it's a 5,000 power, 4-life, dual-colored leader, Purple and Black, very standard. But the effect, he has just like Perona, where you're going to be able to choose one of 2 options. In this case, he has Activate Main once per turn, Dawn -2. So you do have to return 2 Dawn cards. But then you're going to get to choose one of these following options here. If your hand is at 5 or less, you'll be able to draw a card. But if not, or if you need to reduce the cost of something, check out this second effect. Up to one of your opponent's characters gets -2 cost during this turn. Well, a lot of cards in the black card pool, and even some cards in the purple card pool, go off of cost of characters. Excuse me. So this effect will allow us to pop those characters very easily, or, help us get into a range where we can pop, bigger characters with these effects. So really good stuff there. Very strong, versatile leader effect. Very solid. And the picture is just incredible. Okay, so now we know what the leader does. Let's read through these cards real quick. And again, I'm not going to read through every single card and go over them, because I've already done that in a previous video that I will have linked down below. So if you don't know what a card does, either pause the video when I click on it, or check out the review I've already done on some of these new cards. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to read through the list and we'll talk about it. It's running 4 Queens. This card's just incredible. 2 King, 2 Shiki, 2 Kamazo, Hitokiri Kamazo, 2 Arbol, one of the king. Okay, I have to be very specific here. It's running 2 of the 6 cost king and 1 of the 7 cost king that can get rush. Then it's running 2 pudding, 3 of the new 9 cost Linlin from OP08, 2 Black Maria, a 2K counter, very strong card. Make sure you know what this card does. Next up, 3 Jack, 3 Kuzan, very interesting, 3 Suru, 2 Gecko Moria, 3 Kaido, 1 Queen, 4 Sasaki, excuse me, 3 Jack, 1 Who's Who, 2 of the event. We're going to claim the One Piece. This came out in OP07. And then 1, I think they're calling this Conquest or Conquest of the Sea or something, but it's called Hakai on here. And then 4 Onigashima. Okay, so real quick, this list did go 6-0 on like the very first week of these new cards being out in the East. But I do not think this list is peak. I do not think this is the best list. I think the list is fine. It went 6-0. It's obviously not bad. But I think there are so many 1-ofs and 2-ofs in here. It makes me wonder if he had to do this because he just didn't have access to all the different cards in the game. Because that, that could be a possibility, right? Because some of these cards, like this is a rare from OP08. This is a SR, a super rare from OP08. A lot of these cards are like that, so maybe he just didn't have access to all the cards, or maybe he just likes to have a lot of 1-of tech cards. Yes, that does hurt with consistency, but the deck is running 2 searchers here, 1 searcher here, as random as that is, and the leader does have built-in card draw, right? Excuse me, well, this card has card draw as well, Queen does, but this actual leader has built-in card draw, especially if you're countering out very aggressively. It's very easy to counter out with that leader effect. Okay, and then it's also running Onigashima this stage. Now, this is an absolute 4-of if you're going to be running this deck for 2 reasons. This is going to be a 4-of almost no matter what because you need this card. Read what it does if you don't know what it does already. It's the best way we can ramp consistently every turn. So we want 4 of them so we can get them in our opening hand every single game. You know what I mean? If possible. And that's where I do like running 4 of the Queen here. As opposed, like if you're going to do this route, I feel like 4 queens are very nice because it helps you make sure to get this Onigashima. Because remember, this is an Animal Kingdom Pirates stage. This is an Animal Kingdom Pirates searcher. Okay, now the other card that's a 4-of, probably without a doubt, no matter what, will probably be Queen. Queen is just, it is such a good card in multiple ways. Like hear me out here. It's a 5 cost, 6,000 power with a 1K counter and blocker. That is already all fine and dandy, and it would probably be worth running almost for those stats alone. Because think about it. 5 cost and 6,000 power and 1K counter, that's 1,000 power off of a vanilla character, and then tack on the blocker keyword, and we're good to go. But this has an additional effect of Dawn -1, draw 2, and then discard 1 card from your hand. So remember what we were saying down here with the Onigashima. It was like, oh man, what if you draw a bunch of these? It's not a big deal. Trash it whenever you play your Queen. And there's also another way we can trash cards now. There's 2 new ways, actually, excuse me. Jack here, I'm going to read this real quick because it's so important. You can rest this character, activate main, rest this character, draw 1 card, and trash 1 card from your hand. After that, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. This card is stacked. This card is incredible. Excuse me. But then there's also this new Kaido card from OP08. You can discard 1 card from your hand. So again, we'll come back to it. Hang on 1 second. You're going to be able to trash your extra copies of this later in the game. No problem. Okay? And this affects this trash card from your hand. And then if this character's played in this turn, this is an activate main, by the way. This is not an on play. This is an activate main. You can discard 1 card from your hand, and if this character's played in this turn, trash 1 card from your opponent's, trash 1 of your opponent's 7 cost or lower characters. Then your opponent trashes a card from their hand. They have to discard a card from their hand. This card is a beast. I don't think I'm running this card today in my list, but I'll talk about it more in a minute. I feel like the direction a lot of these early decks were going, I feel like it was just the wrong direction personally. But we'll have to see. There's more than one way to build a deck, right? There's more than one way. Okay. Shiki is just a great, very cheap blocker here on play. If you have Animor Dawn, draw a card and trash a card. So there's another way to trash a card. I forgot that actually trashes the card too. So really good stuff there. It's helping you cycle through all the cards you need to and get to your right answers. Especially if you have like multiple Kuzans in hand, you might want to start trashing. Just getting rid of this card, trash it. Get to your bigger answers. It's only running 2 Gecko Moria. That's a very strange number for this card because what if you search over it early with a Queen or with this event down here? You're just out of luck. Sasaki. This is like, I guess this is Animal Kingdom Pirates version of Subaru. where you can activate this on your main and rest a Dawn to -2 cost to a character for the turn. But resting a Dawn, it kind of hurts, right? Like that can kind of hurt us from curving out. I like this card for what it does, and worst case scenario, it's like a 2 cost -2 for the turn. You know what I mean? That, and then activate main after that. You know, you don't have to. Oh, excuse me, you do. I'll say you have to rest this character as well, so they probably will take it out. But hey, then it acts as a 2K counter again. Very solid. And they're running 3 Subarus on top of that. They have plenty of ways to reduce cost, especially when you have Kouzuki and your leader has built-in cost reduction. Now, a card that I actually think will probably be a 4 of in the finalized version of the deck, and I don't even think I'm running it as a 4 of, but again, we'll talk about my deck towards the end, is this card here, Hitokiri Kamazo. This is a 4 cost 5,000 power card that is also a 2K counter. Now, unfortunately, the types are just garbage for us. Like we can't search up any of this, right, with the way this deck is being built. We're trying to stick with Animal Kingdom Pirates. So, no, the types are not very good, but who cares at the same time, right? Because this card, guys, your turn, once per turn, when you return Dawn cards on your field to your Dawn deck, KO up to one of your opponent's characters, characters with a cost of 2 or less. So with your leader's effect, this does work with your leader's effect, where you can, if you have Hitokiri Kamazo down, and you use this leader effect to return 2 Dawn to give -2 cost to a character for the turn, well now, from just using your leader's effect and having this on the board, you just pop a 4 or less. That is really, really nice. Okay, Black Maria is good, but there's not a lot of ways, like, I don't see this card being as good in a deck like this. I feel like in Red Purple Law, this deck's insane, or excuse me, this card's insane in that deck. But in this deck in particular, we don't have a lot of Dawn -1 effects. Like, we have Charlotte Lin. This is not a Dawn -1 effect. Excuse me. Now, technically, this card is this Conquest of the Sea, but this is just, he's only running 1 of these in his deck. And that's like, I think that might be it. No, excuse me, there is this one as well. The leader effect is, of course, Dawn -2, so that there is something there. There's something to be said there. But then this effect is a on-play Dawn -1 to give your character rush. So yes, these effects do exist, but later in the game, once you get up to 10 Dawn, this deck's not running any of the cards that just destroy all your Dawn, like something like a 9 cost Kaido or the 10 cost Kaido, not the new one, not the new purple Kaido Lin card, but just the straight up 10 cost Kaido. That is the card that I recommend, and when we get to my games on the sim, you'll see it. I think that card is absolutely incredible in a deck like this, and it can kind of just beat up the board very easily. Okay, and that's it, guys. Like, let me show you. So this is, I'm on OnePieceTopDecks.com. I always like to tell you guys where I'm at. And I go to the deck list for OP08. That's what I just clicked on. And if you click on the deck profiles and type up all of the King cards, that's it. It's just the one deck we just saw. Now, yes, it did go 6-0, got first place. And this was from the first week of results for OP08 from the East. So it's nothing to scoff at, right? Like, yes, it's not the most overrepresented deck right now or anything, but people are still playing Red Purple Law. People are still playing, you know, Black Yellow Luffy. They're trying out Purple Yellow Pudding. They're trying out all kinds of new stuff. You know what I mean? But this list did not see a whole lot of love on the first week, or at least if it did see a lot of love, it did not see the greatest placings. But don't worry, the good old internet here, we're going to look at quite a few other lists from YouTube. Okay, these are from, I will have all of these games down in the bottom, linked at the, you know, in the comment section of this video. So don't worry, but we are going to check out, you know, we're gonna blast over some of these cards real quickly to see what they're doing. Okay, or these deck lists from the East. So this first one here, it looks like they're running 4 of the Queen, 4 of that Kamazo card, the Hitokiri Kamazo card, 4 Sasaki, 4 of the new Scratch Poo blocker that can do Dawn. I think it has activate main once per turn, something to -1 cost to your opponent's board for the turn. It's running 4 Sabos, 4 of the Who's Who. This is like the best 2K counter that this deck can have access to currently. This and like maybe Suru in my opinion, and that's not even Animal Kingdom Pirates. 4 Jack, 4 of the. I completely like this idea. Notice they're not running this deck. This version we're looking at here. Oh, I got to move my face, guys. I'm sorry. Hang on 1 second. Okay, let me move my face over here for now. Sorry about that. So this deck is running 4 of the 9 cost Lin, the new purple one. And notice they're not running any of the 9 cost Kaido. Yes, I think Kaido is good. I absolutely think that the Kaido card is good. But I don't know if we'll have to find a way to fit that card in the deck, because that is not exactly the best tempo card, right? If you're playing it on 9 Dawn, on 10 Dawn turns, that's your whole turn. And the best you could do is pop like, I mean, technically, with the leader effect, you can pop like a 9 or less. Yes, that's good, but what if they're swarming the board? And that is something we're seeing a lot right now. How does red purple, red purple law? How does that deck work? It fills out the board. There are 2 new decks that are out in OP08. They're not even necessarily new decks like Zoro, but one of them is a new deck in red green chopper. And guys, they're going wide. They're swinging wide now, and even blue decks are swinging wide. Look at Doflamingo, Boa Hancock. Those decks are just filling out the board. So playing out a 9-cost card, it needs to have a pretty substantial effect. And this 9-cost Lin, guys, let me try to paraphrase it. I won't remember the card's text perfectly, but it's going to be an on-play, Dawn -1, trash a card from your hand to put a 6-cost or lower character in your opponent's life, and then you gain a life. So that effect is way better, in my personal opinion. I mean, they're both better in different ways. This effect is more practical. Let me say that. I don't want to say either one's better than the other, but this effect is way, way more practical. Talking about the 9-cost Lin. Okay, because what you're doing is you're establishing a 9k body, you're bouncing one of their bodies, and you're gaining a life. Who cares if they gained a life from that effect of bouncing the character to their life? That doesn't matter at all. The fact is you gained a life, and you got rid of one of their characters, and you established a character. Whereas with the 9-cost Kaido, that is a more of like, okay, you took away one of their characters and established your own, but you didn't gain a life. Instead, you trashed a card to make them trash a card from their hand. So again, they both have like their strengths and weaknesses, but I feel like this 9-cost Lin is just absolutely incredible, and it's way better at getting us to the next stage of the game. Letting us survive, so maybe we can drop like a 10-cost Kuzan down or a 7-cost Jack while being able to attack the board and do things like that, get some tempo. Everything else is pretty standard that we already saw on this list. This is running 4 of the 1-cost event searchers and 4 of the 1-cost character searcher. And this one's running, you see this 3-cost card down here, guys? Again, if you don't know what all these cards do, I'll have a link down in the comment section below for you to click on the review, and you'll be able to read all the cards and all that good stuff. But I'll just summarize. This is basically a ramp card, a Dawn ramp card. And they're running 4 of them. And then I think this card's called Brachio Bomber. This is just like, I think it's a 6-cost, pop a 6 or less, and ramp a Dawn. Good stuff. And then, of course, 4 Onigashima. Probably get used to that, guys. I think we're going to see a whole lot of that Onigashima. Okay, let's go to the next one. We're just kind of blitzing through these and seeing what people are running, getting some ideas here. Oops, there we go. All right, so this list is actually much different from one of the ones, and some of these are like earlier and later than others. Like, see, this one was from 11 days ago, and the one we just looked at was from 3 days ago. These do change, and I will have all this linked in the comment section below. But notice what this list is doing. They're using that new Arbol card. I think his name was Arbol or something like that. It's running 4 of those with 4 of the Rush King cards. So and it's running 4 of the 6-cost King as well. So I guess that's another direction you'll be able to take the list. Is like maybe you want to make it more based around King. And in that case, look at what they're doing. They're running 4 Gecko Morias to bring back this card, guys. Like that is a nice interaction. I have to say, that is a really good interaction. I have to look up this guy's name real quick, guys, because I just feel bad if I can't say the name correctly. Okay, his name is Albert. They had it as Arbol. I feel like on the one side we looked at, I think it's Albert. This guy, or I know it's Albert. This guy right here. Okay, but other than that, they're running 4 of the Hitakiri card, 4 of Borsellino, 4. See, now in this list, I actually understand why they're running Black Maria, because this is a lot of Dawn minusing going on between these between all the stuff with King. But that's really all the Dawn minusing they're doing. However, if they're comboing that with their leader to pop bigger and bigger characters, then it makes more sense. And don't worry, guys, if it looks like the resolution is not very good on this one, it's really not. Let me see. Can I even go up? No, it's on 1080. It just doesn't look good for some reason, the actual quality on this one. But everything else seems pretty straightforward for the searchers. It's running 4 of the Dressrosa one-legged toy soldiers for 2k counters instead of the Suru. So that would be a... I'm surprised they're not running Sasaki in the place of this card, but Sasaki only does -2 and this one does -3. So, but Sasaki is searchable. So I don't know. That might be up to player preference, but this card will give -3, and then King, I forget what he even pops. It's been, so I think he pops a 4 or less. I'll look it up right now. You'll give me just a second, guys. I got it over here on the right. Excuse me. Yeah, because I believe he pops a 4 or less when you play him. Of course, it brings up like every single purple card, guys. I'm sorry when I brought this up. but being able to use him, you know, because remember, you're cheating him out with Albert. You're actually cheating the card out with Albert for like a huge discount. Sorry, guys, I'm almost there now. Just there we go. It took a second to load in. Oh, and you know what? I'm surprised he's not running the 7-cost version of King that can pop 2 characters, because in this current format, that probably would not be that bad. But whatever the case is, he is not running that. I can't even barely find it, guys. I'm sorry. I might have to come back and like say something in the comment section below, especially as opposed to like restarting the video. Because you guys, for those who do not know, I do like a raw take on every one of these, but I cannot find this card over here. I must be going crazy. It might be a situation where I've like overlooked it like 2 or 3 times. Hang on one second. We'll find him this way. No, he's not. No, he's either OP01 or OP02. That's gonna be the best way to find him. Okay. And I still can't find him, guys. I am losing it right now. I'm absolutely losing it. Am I crazy? Or, oh, he's from the ST decks. That's what it is, guys. That's dude. That is funny. That is my fault. We got him now, boys. We got him. All right, he pops a 4 or less. Okay, he pops a 4 or less. Next deck. That was driving me crazy, guys. I had to find that real quick. So this is the next list here, and this one. Oh, was that last list not running Queen, by the way? That is surprising. Well, they're even prioritizing. Well, I guess you can't find Queen with the Queen Searcher. That's very annoying. So that's probably why they're doing that. But they're running 4 Sabos. Okay. Next up is this list here, and this is running 4 Queens and 4 Sabos and 4 of the 5-cost Eustace Kids, and this is running 4 of the 9-cost. Wow, this is a very interesting deck here, guys. Let me see. It's running 4, 8, 10. It's running 10, 14 2K counters because it's running 4 Suru, 4 X-Drake, 4 of the Who's Who, 2 of the Sasaki, and then it's running 12 5-cost blockers, and they are very strong blockers. Like, these are like some of the best blockers in the game. Eustace Kid, Sabo, Queen, those are up there, right? And then at the very bottom, let me make sure my face is not in the way for y'all. Okay, yeah, and at the very bottom here, 4 Jax, 4 Linlin, 4 Kaido, 4 of the Onigashima. Man, this is a very, very nice list, very tight list. If you look at this, like, that's pretty good. The 2 everything's a 4 of in this list except 2 Sasaki, and I actually agree with that. I'm not a huge fan of Sasaki, the 2K counter that does minus 2 cost for the turn. I just would rather have Suru, even though it's not searchable. I don't know what it is. I would just rather have that card. But either way, very, very powerful stuff here. And this one's not running any of the Gecko Moria engine, right? Like the last deck we looked at was running like this King Gecko Moria, excuse me, like some kind of King and Gecko Moria engine. But this next list, and that's the nice thing about these new lists, right? Who knows which one is the best one to run right now? None of us do. We have to figure it out together. Okay, so good stuff here. Let's keep going to the next one. Next one up is... This one has a weird format, how they kind of like just took a picture of the deck. But they are running... Now here, this one is touching on to what I'm going to be messing with when I show the games off that I'm doing. 10 cost Kaido, and then 10 cost Kaido Linlin. I just like the 10 cost standard, 10 cost 12k Kaido that just pops the entire board. This is the direction that I recommend going, and I'll show you guys when we get to the videos today. Everything else up here, this is running the new 3-cost Pudding. That's kind of like a miniature version of the 5-cost Eustace Kid blocker. But other than that, 4 of the Queen Searcher, 2 Puddings, 4 Black Maria, 2 Kamazu, 4 King, 4 Who's Who, 4 Sabo. A lot of Sabos going on here. And then it's running 2 of the 6-cost King, but it's not running that Albert card, or do I not see it? Did I miss the Albert card? No, he's just not running it. He's just running 2 of the 6-cost Kings and 2 of the 7-cost Kings. Excuse me. 2 of the 7-cost Jacks, then 2 of each of the Linlin and Kaido 9-cost cards. Those cards are so solid. They were made well together. Like, these cards are just very good. And the next thing I want to test with my list is this 9-cost Kaido. I just didn't get a chance to really mess with it that much. And then, like I said, the 2 10-cost cards here. It's running 2 of the Gum Gum Jet Gatlings, 4 of the Event Searcher, 2 Ice Ages. I like that. 2 of the Conquest of the Sea cards, and then 4 Onigashima. 4 Onigashima is just standard. Like, I don't think we will see a single list that does not run 3 or 4 Onigashimas. I think it's just a must-have, because your leader's Animal Kingdom Pirates. Why not get the full effect from it, right? Why not get the full advantage of running Animal Kingdom Pirates? Okay, what else? And, oh, well, that's the list. And this one is, like, very spread. It looks like they're trying to figure out what to do. Like, notice the middle row of cards. I mean, I like when you can have different options, but I feel like this will lead to an inconsistency where it's just a bunch of 2-ofs all over the place. Where it's like, oh, this card might be good against one deck, and this card might be good against another. Okay, but what about when you get one card that's not good against the deck you're on, when you could have had the other one in? I don't know. It's a hard balance. But we'll, you know, either way, this is a pretty interesting list as well. All right, we got 3 more to run through real quick. This one has, okay, I'm not going to read through all of it. It's pretty straightforward at this point. Like, everything looks pretty good about the way we could expect. This one is running the King variant, but it's not running the 6-cost King, the one that took me forever to search up, guys. The 6-cost King, that is a 7k counter that has on-play Dawn -1 to KO of 4 or less. This is just running the aggro version, the 7-cost 8k that can rush as soon as it comes into play. It's running 3 and 3 of the 9-cost Linlin and Kaido. Very nice. 3 of the Jack card. It's running, and then everything else is pretty straightforward. And, of course, 4 Onigashima. The card is so good. Okay, let's check out the next one. We're almost done now, guys. So then we'll get to the games on the sim. This one, so this is the second list I think we saw with the Scratchman Apu, the new blocker from OP08. It's just a nice 4-cost 5k, 1k counter blocker that has the ability, I think it's like Dawn ×1, or activate main once per turn, -1 to the cost of your opponent's characters for the turn. Just a really solid effect. In fact, let me look that up real quick as well while we're on it. All right, let me go there. Okay, so that card, Scratchman Apu, again, it is blocker, activate main once per turn, give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost during the turn. Very nice. And then everything else here is pretty straightforward, pretty refined. They are favoring... Oh, and this one has Reiju, by the way. That is a card that I experiment with, too. We'll talk about it later. But this one's running Reiju. I like that a lot. I like that a whole lot, especially if you're going to run Gecko Moria. But Gecko Moria has so many good targets in here between... but I will say this. I'm surprised for this card, Apu. I'm surprised they're not just running Borsalino there. Like, yes, that Borsalino can't do -1 cost for the turn, but it's just a more consistent, stronger... harder to KO blocker, right? Whereas this card is actually even easier for Law to remove because they can use Otamas or like the 4-cost promo Law to just get this off the board so easily. Borsalino requires them to waste one of their Gordons or one of their Raise Max. So, yeah. Everything else looks pretty good in here, though. Now, like I said, this one is complete, or like I was about to say, this one is just favoring full-on Kaido and not the Linlin, which is interesting, good stuff otherwise. All right, let's keep going. I think we got one more list, and then we'll get into the games on the sim. Now, this one, let me make sure my head is still out of the way. Yep. This one is actually like the list we already saw. This was just the same channel that I looked at, but this was versus Gecko Moria, so I won't spend much time on this. I'll just summarize. This is all about Gecko Moria, bringing back your your guy here. I keep wanting to call him Arbol. Oh man, they got me good with that. I will say, you know, whenever they have like the wrong translations, sometimes it just completely messes me up. But don't worry, we'll get it right here. His name, whoops, I had it still under the Apu search. This guy's name is Arbor, Albert. Man, what a tongue twister there. It's got my mind in a pretzel right now. But there we go. This list we already looked at, but it's running that Albert engine where you're just cheating out the kings, and then Gecko Moria is bringing the Albers back to cheat out more kings. So as long as he has... okay, and that is pretty nice. So check out this interaction I should have mentioned earlier. It's the Gecko Moria in this deck. This is why they're running the one-legged toy soldier. So they're going to play out Gecko Moria, getting back Albert and getting back one-legged toy soldier. Then they are going to use the one-legged toy soldier first to -3 cost to a character for the turn. They can use their leader effect to lose 2 Dawn and -2 more to a character. So that's -5. And then they'll use this Albert card to trash it and play out a king from their hand, I believe it is. Yeah, from your hand. Play out this king from hand, and now you're popping a... What is that, a 9 or less? I mean, that's pretty nice, guys. And because it's all activate main speed, no problem. You know, because when things are on play speed, you can't really do too much with it. But that's one of the nice things about Perona, Black-Green Perona, with their interaction with Ryuma. They're going to bring back something like a one-legged toy soldier and the 4-cost Hiyori. And now they can activate main their one-legged toy soldier, activate main their Hiyori to cheat out the Ryuma, and now you're popping a way bigger character. So really good stuff there. Very cool. Okay, now on to the games on to the sim games. All right, let me bring that up real quick. Right here. Let me move my head out of the way. Go full screen. Okay, and we're on 2x speed. We're good to go. I think I pre-did. Well, I don't know what I just hit there. I tried to cast to a device there. Speed's at 2x. Okay, we're good to go. All right. So first game up here, we're against Red Blue Marco. Let me take the glasses off. Enjoy this. And if you get Onigashima in your opening hand, you just simply keep it. You just keep it. The card, Onigashima, is so good, guys. I don't know how else to explain it. The card is just so good for what we're trying to do. It's so important. And going first is actually pretty desirable for a deck like this. So we can get Onigashima down right away and go from there. And if you're running the one-cost Searcher, which I don't think I'm running the one-cost Searcher because I'm running Gecko Morias. If you're running the one-cost Searcher, you can go turn 1, search for the Onigashima, and go from there. You know what I mean? It's very It's a very strong, desirable start. But we've got Onigashima down. We're already up to 9 Dawn. We're feeling pretty fine about this point in the game. Now, we're going against Red Blue Marco. Red Blue Marco is not in the best place just yet. I don't think we've fully figured it out yet. I should have a video coming out on him soon as well, kind of going over the list that I'm running. And we're going to talk about, whenever I do that video, we're going to talk about another direction you can go with the deck with Revolutionary Army. That might be the way going forward. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Okay, so here we go. So he's just going to play out some cards here. He did not set a card in his life that he could get with that ace. That's really weird, unless I missed it. Did I just miss it, guys? I'm sorry if I did. Whatever the case is, okay, I don't have any crazy big characters in hand, so I'm going to play out... Okay, there we go. That's the card I'm looking for. So now, I'm going to draw a card from for the turn with my Leader's Effect. I get a 2k counter. I ramp back up to 9 Dawn or whatever it is with that with the stage. And I'm completely fine here. Next turn, I'm going to go face with everything and try to bait him into, like, you know, it depends on, like, whether he wants, I don't know if he wants to develop something or what. I didn't play out my Sabo there because I plan on playing my Kaido next turn. Just pop whatever he has on the board. Okay, I'm gonna make him commit more into that attack. Perfect. Look at that. So he played out that guy. He thinks, like, okay, I'm about to have a massive advantage here. Smashing into everything like this. Yep, you can have that. Ace into that. You got it, man. You just got full board control. Swing 5 at life. I would be very concerned if my opponent did that. Well, -6, pop his board, gain a Dawn. I'm back up to, what is it, 5 Dawn now? I'll be back up to 7 Dawn next turn. I am in a very good position to win this game now. Now, he does -2,000. I think he's just doing that for the Leader Effect to set his cards. You should always use your Searcher first, but maybe he found the Searcher with his Leader Effect. Plays out double blocker here. Look what I top deck, by the way. Seems good. I'll swing for 12 here. I'm going to save that for when he has 0 life before I want to use that. Right here, it's just going to be swing for 7. I can play out a Sabo here. Okay, he uses that card to cheat the KO. I've got this. You know, I've got my Sabo down. None of my cards can be KO'd. We're fine. We're completely fine now. Let's see what he does. It's going to be hard. Like, okay, I was going to say, let's analyze what he has in his hand. He has nothing to do. Like, those are he has nothing but 2k counters in hand. A Seaquake that won't work because none of my cards can be KO'd this turn. And then he has a Pudding. I have 4 cards in hand. That's not going to help you. And next turn, even if he thinks he's safe behind the wall of blockers, I'm going to pop both of them with that Conquest of the Sea card. Because that can pop 2 6 or less characters. Now, yes, he can save his Marco. But remember, the Marcos come back into play rested. So it's like, okay, KO both of them. Now, that if he chooses to save them, they come back into play rested, and now I just smash in for, you know, 12 plus 4, coming in for 16k GG. Good stuff. Okay, next game. You're probably going to see quite a few instances of that happen in today's games. Okay, I think the 10 cost Kaido is the way to go. Specifically, not the 10 cost Kaido Linlin. Not to say that card's bad or anything. Oh yeah, let me go to 2x speed real quick. Okay, not saying the 10 cost Kaido Linlin card is bad, but on play, wipe the board, and we're ramping to it. Notice I got to go first this game. Nice. You know, we are off to the races now. And look, we're going against a Kaido, a Blurple Kaido deck as well. So one thing too I want to mention, I was messing around with the new Charlotte Perospero at the 3 cost spot because there's just no 3 cost, you know, interaction sometimes. I like it, but there's a card that I like better than the purple one, and it's the yellow Charlotte Perospero. I like the yellow Charlotte Perospero strictly better. I just think it's better, guys, because it's doing a search. And this list is not finalized or anything. This is just cards I was messing with. I like the, I don't like the what's his name? Okay, did he just get popped? Where is he? Oh, he bounced back to Parasparrow. I don't really like the Bond Clay all that much, especially after, you know, talking on the Discord and stuff. I was like, okay, and it's not bad, but I actually like the Parasparrow better, the 3-cost Parasparrow that searches on KO. So right here, we'll swing in for 7. He has to counter out, or I'm throwing everything. I'm throwing the, you know, the whole kitchen sink at him, right? There's just no way out. Okay, so right here, I do want to try to go for game a little bit. Okay, yep, do that. Play out this guy. Play out my Bon Carré. I don't know what I just did there. Oh, I just messed up. Sorry, let me show y'all what I did wrong there. Let me pause for a second. I meant to draw a card, but I was at 6 cards in hand. I forgot to play out the Bon Carré first. That was just a simple mistake. But that was definitely a mistake. Okay, so he plays out the 9-cost Kaido Lin Lin. That's annoying because he will get to gain a life from it. But at the same time, we're not exactly in the worst position here. He's going to swing for 6. I'd be surprised if I didn't take this. Yeah, I take it. Who's who? That thing can pop a 3K for a trigger, or a 3-cost on the trigger. Okay, so I'm going to swing for 5 here, and now we're dropping the big boy. Ramping a Dawn with Onigashima, your turn. And this is a situation where he basically has to fight fire with fire here, and that's not as good. I don't know how else to say it. That card is just simply not as good. Okay, swing 5. I'll probably counter out of this. No reason for me to take this. I think he's sitting on 1 Dawn for a Radical Beam, or not Radical Beam. What's it called? The purple one. Blast Breath. Oh nope. He goes for a Who's Who. Hopefully, maybe I show what it is. What he gets. He gets a 6-cost King with that effect. All right, ramp up 1 Dawn with my Onigashima. Swing 12. That's going through. Swing 6 because I'm going to play out both Parasparrows. So right here, I'm putting him on lethal, right? I'm putting him on like, hey, you're going to have to develop blockers, gain life, or both, or I'm just kind of going to win this game, right? There's just no way around it. Because I'm about to have 3 attacks coming in, and I'm back up to 10 Dawn now after 2 turns. Okay, right here he swings for 5. I'm just going to counter out of that. Better safe than sorry. If he tries to go all in on my Kaido, I had 1 2K, but then I still get to run in with the rest of my team. I wasn't really too worried. Okay, feels bad. Hit him with the Conquest of the Sea. We're swinging for 12. I should have swung for 9 first, then 12, but oh well, it is what it is. So I definitely, actually, so what I should have done there, pop the cards first because that's just the right play because I still have 4 Dawn left to work with. Then I could have gone 6, 6, 7, 12. And I think that would have been like the best way to do it technically, but who knows. Okay, either way it worked out. Next up we have Red Purple Law. Okay, Red Purple Law. Speed 2x, and here we go. So I don't know how much I changed the deck throughout these games. Let me give you guys a fair warning. Like, some of these decks might not be the exact same, but I think for the most part they're very, very similar. Okay, of the 5 games we're going to see today. But notice I have the Brook in this one. I might have added that after that last game. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I did add that Brook after that last game, but I'm not sure because I don't remember seeing it before then. And same thing with this Sabo. I don't remember seeing this card. But that's okay. I'm actually very happy about this Sabo. Okay, yeah, see, I'm starting, like, it's starting to come together in my head. I think I did add the Sabo and the Brook after the last game. I'm not sure what I took out, but we'll look at the list I'm running at the end. So swing for 7. He's going to use the Shariah there, of course. I'm going to -2 him. I'm going to Rebecca to get the Brook back, pop that card. I just think that interaction has to be used. Like literally, just has to be used in the new way the game is played, right? Like if you're running a black deck, why would you not run that to help deal with these aggressive decks in the beginning? If you don't have Rebecca Brook for the beginning of your game, I don't know how you're supposed to consistently beat Red Purple Law. I'm just going to say it like that. That's the most concise way of putting it, the most blunt, straightforward way of putting it, is I don't know how you're supposed to compete against Red Purple Law if you don't have the Rebecca Brook combo for your early game, with Gecko Moria bringing it back later in the game. Okay, play out Reiju. I'm going up cards here because we actually had the exact same amount of Dawn. So I'm like, all right, play out Reiju, gain that. And now next turn, whatever he plays, I can very, very easily deal with Sabo. He's going to swing 5 to that. No, I'm not going to just let him have that for free. This guy made a big play mistake there, not removing Dawn first. He did not get the effect from that Reiju. That feels awful. That feels awful if you're that player. 5 into... I was hoping I could use my Rebecca here. I can't. I'm just going to have to let this thing go or double counter out. Excuse me. I guess I really wanted to save that. All right, so right here, What do I do? Okay, yeah, I think I swing into him, -1 there, so now I can pop both of those guys. Let's see what he does here if he wants to give me the blocker. Because I will start swinging into that blocker if he wants to turn that thing sideways, right? Because then I could pop both of them pretty easily with what's on the board. But I think he makes the right call here. I think he actually lets it go. He does. That was definitely the right call because he doesn't know what's in my hand. So I'm going to swing 5 at life, try to get him to commit this blocker before he knows what I'm going to do. Because he shouldn't know that I have a Sabo. I don't think any decks run Sabo that we looked at. I'm going to swing 5 more at life. He gives me the blocker here, and I'm feeling really good now. Pop. I'll trash the Rebecca. That was a play mistake, I'm sorry. I should have just trashed the other Sabo. I don't know why I didn't trash the other Sabo. I needed to sit on that Rebecca for next turn to bring back this guy if I needed it, or potentially. And it's a blocker. But I'm in a very, very commanding position. And remember, guys, every turn, my leader can draw a card if I have 5 or less cards in hand. So as soon as I start losing tempo, okay, he bottom decks my Reiju. Very nice. Plays out Kid and Killer. He's probably going to pop my Brook. Why would he... Oh, he did not want to swing at face there because I have 4 life. I have 4 life still, guys. So his Kid and Killer is just a 4 cost 5k rusher. That's it. He did not want to sacrifice that to my Sabo. I get that, but here's the bad news. I kept that other Sabo. I guess it ended up paying off, and he's just going to give up there. The game is over. It is, it's all over, right? There's no way he climbs out of that hole. Really good stuff there. And back to what I was saying, when I was playtesting this deck, just know, guys, a lot of times, okay, yeah, when I'm playing some of the more meta stuff, I can get a pretty decent win streak going, just like everybody else, right? It's just the sim. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you guys. You can get a pretty decent win streak going with the meta decks. When I'm playing stuff that is off meta, like Purple Black King currently, I get run over all the time, right? And it's not even worth showing. I know some people are like, why don't you show any losses on here? It's like, well, I'm not trying to show you how to lose. I'm trying to show you how to win, right? But in this case, I had to change the deck quite a bit to deal with decks like Red Purple Law. And that's why you're seeing cards in here like the... notice, if you can look at my life here, I don't know how good the resolution is. That's a Kaido under Reiju. Okay, this is a Kaido, this is a Queen, this is a Gecko Moria. So I had some pretty good stuff coming, right around the corner, so to speak. Okay, I got 2 more games, and then we'll go from there. This is a mirror match. Okay, I'm liking what I see in my hand right away. If I see an Onigashima in my hand, I don't care if I'm going first or second, I'm keeping that hand. I'm going first, so I'm going to swing 5, drop Onigashima, gain a Dawn, and we're off to the races. Now you're seeing an Isho in my hand. Again, we'll have to see what the list is I'm running at the end here, but I made some crazy revisions throughout my time playtesting because, again, that's the whole part of it. It's like, okay, if I'm losing a bunch of games, I need to change something. Something needs to change. Okay, I'm going to swing 7 into 5. Play out Rebecca here. I have 0 targets to get back, but I at least want to put something on the board because I can also get this Rebecca back with my Gecko Moria if needed, if that's necessary. And notice I'll be on 8 Dawn next turn, so I can actually play out Gecko Moria next turn. I can just block with my Rebecca here. I don't for some reason. Makes absolutely no sense, but hey, good news. He pops it anyway. That's perfect. Okay, ramp up to, I think, 10 Dawn. I think I'm going to do it in a little bit different order. Yeah, swing 6 at face first. Give me another. He just played out 2 2K counters, and now he just used a 2K counter from his hand. So he should be, theoretically, this guy should be running very, very low on cards, 2K counters. Now, looking back, it probably would have been better to establish Isho. Because it would have, remember, he had 6 cards in his hand here, but I was really set on playing out the Gecko to get back to Rebecca and to put a card on the board that they have to run into. I just wanted to keep my board presence going, because what I plan on doing soon here is popping with Kaido. But again, if I had established Isho, and hey, you should record your games, guys. Record your games to see how you do afterwards, because looking back, Isho was definitely the right call, because he would have had to trash 2 cards from hand, and then he would have felt like he had the tempo to build his board bigger here. Because now he's going to be more focused on removing my Gecko or maybe removing my board. See that? Look at that. He's going to play out the Kamazo. Whereas if I had done it if I had played out the Isho, he would have felt very comfortable in just like developing his board and going bigger here. And then next turn I pop everything with the Kaido. Feels good. But now look at the situation. He's going to swing 5 here. This isn't really a big deal. I'll take it. Nice. Get a Gecko Moria. We'll take it. Now, if I want to play out Kaido, I'm going to lose my board. You know what I mean? I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. It's kind of hard to say, but I do think it would have been better to play out Isho there. That's just me personally. But at the same time, Isho is a bigger investment. I'd rather keep him. I'd rather keep him on the board. But right here, since he takes that, I can develop the Isho. He had to trash a Kaido and something else. I missed it. Feeling pretty good about that situation there. And then I'm going to swing 7 into his guy. Let's see if he gets... There's another 2K counter, by the way, guys. Like, this guy is just burning through 2K counters. Okay, and now I have this as my board, but he has a lot of bodies to swing in. He just ripped my Kaido out of my hand by playing out his Isho. That does not feel good, but that's pretty much his whole turn. I have 1 2K in hand, 2 1Ks, but he has 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks. I do have 2 life as well, so... Okay, let's see what he does. He just did Dawn -2 to draw a card from his leader's effect. He rips... what did he do there? Oh, he popped my Suru with the Kamazo's effect. Very nice. Man, the purple and black in cost reduction decks like Isho like this... Or, excuse me, like Isho. Like King. They have really, really nice ways of just demolishing your board with their 2K counters. Like, look at these 2K counters. They're actually popping everything. You know what I mean? Who's Who pops a 3 cost or less. Kamazo pops a 2 cost. Suru can do cost reduction. You have cost reduction on your leader. Okay, so right there, I just go ahead and pop his the only blocker he had, and I'm going to swing 11, swing 12, GG. And remember what I told you guys. Look at that. He still had 1 2K counter in hand, which is surprising. But he had played 3 2K counters out on the board. I think he countered out with 2 of them as well. So, you know, you do have to, when you're going for lethal, you do have to kind of take that into consideration. Like, wait, how many 2K counters have I seen? And in this case, I saw so many. It's like, you know what? I'm going to just pop this guy. I feel pretty comfortable about going for game. All right, last but not least, we got Red Purple Luffy. This deck right here is actually way better than people might realize. Talking about Red Purple Luffy. This is just a really solid card. Okay, well, there it goes. Did I go up to 2x speed? Yes, I did. Okay. All right, so he gets a Basil Hawkins start where he can ramp Dawn real fast, but I've got a Onigashima start. It's like, I see your Basil Hawkins, and I'm going to raise you an Onigashima. Good luck competing with Onigashima ever when it comes to ramping Dawn. It's just consistent 1 Dawn every single turn. I'm not saying it's impossible. You know, there are cards in this game called Black Maria, right? But hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. He plays out a Sanji for full cost. I hit him with an Isho. He loses a new gate in the process. Feels bad to be him. I'm going to ramp. Hang on there. So, guys, I was at 9 Dawn that turn, right? I ramp up to 10 with my Onigashima. And then I return 2 Dawn to draw a card because I have 5 cards or less in my hand for my leader's effect. Do not forget to use your leader's effect efficiently, guys, and make sure you're counting your Dawn to see where you're going to be at for the following turn. Very, very important. That is a very strong leader effect. Okay, and by the way, whatever he plays this turn is just going bye-bye, right? If I need to. If I need to wipe his board, I very easily can. Okay, so right here, yeah, I think, so this is just me thinking currently. I'm not playing right now. Obviously, I pre-record these games. I should have just let the card go. That's the way that I'm thinking about it right now. But he did just play out the 9-cost Lin, you know, and he chose not to push my blocker back to life because I guess it would have kind of canceled it out anyway. No big deal. I'm going to swing 10 at life. We're going to swing 10 more at life. And now, let's see what he does. That's going to cost him a life. And then I'm going to develop a Gecko Moria. And then I'm just going to play out this this Perona and make my opponent trash a card from hand. Use my leader's effect again. Draw a card. Man, okay, I'm in a very strong position here. What does my opponent do? Do you just try to go for game now? I mean, the answer might be yes, by the way. The answer might be yes. Because, I mean, yeah, I do have a blocker to stop a lot of what he's trying to do. Okay, there's no way you're getting that card. There's no way I'm letting him have that one. He's going to have to bounce a card here. But he doesn't. I don't think he does. Just like the first time when he played out the 9 Lin, he chose not to. But look, this turn he decided, you know what? You know, I learned my lesson the first time. I got to bounce that Sabo. The Sabo was just too nice at letting me defend my life. Okay, so he swings in for 7 there. He's got 1 Dawn open, threatening a Radical Beam. But look at my board, right? I mean, like this is the kind of situation where it's like, okay, I could swing 10 twice pretty much for free and then still play out another Gecko Moria. Okay, but right here, I think I might actually just be going for something more. Okay, yep, I'm like, you know what? Hey, let's just do it this way. Your turn, sir. You know, that's just pops everything. Hey, you can have the Luffy, right? You can have Luffy. He's going to swing in here. I do counter out of this one because 7 is the easiest attack I'll be able to counter out of. He only gets 2 more attacks. What is he going to do? Let me also say this. He only has 4 Dawn to work with this turn. Even if he played a 4-cost blocker, it would not save him from what I'm about to do. Okay, swing there. Because I have a T-Bone in hand. That's not a blocker, by the way. So it's going to be... he has 2 cards left in hand. So the right call here... I didn't do it. Well, I had 12k and 12k. Excuse me. It would have been the same. All right. Good stuff. Let me go over to the deck so we can check it out. That guy was just, he was done for, right? There was like no way out of that one. All right, so this is what I ended on. I didn't even get to play out my jacks like pretty much any game. It just that, and I had to from the very beginning. I remember this card was in the very beginning of all my games, and I think the only games I played him out, I ended up losing with. So it's like, I don't know if I'll keep this card or not, even though the card is very good. I think it's just better in Lucci. Like you guys, oh, let me move my face before I forget. Every time, guys, every time, I'm sorry. But you guys tell me what y'all think with Jack. Let me see how we're doing on time, too. Okay, we're good. Tell me what y'all think about Jack and Purple Black King. I don't think this is actually the right way to go. As good as this card is, I would rather just ramp to this guy and just blast their board off the map, or blast them off the board, however you want to say it. And then early on, I can have my Brooks. Early on, you already have your Who's Who's. Like this new 2K counter is insane. Notice I'm running 4, 8, 12 2K counters, and I could probably go up more 2K counters, honestly. The Helmeppo is nice just because it goes with the whole entire Gecko Moria engine. I'm running 4 of the Reijus just to catch me up after, if I do have to spin a lot early on, it helps me catch up. But one thing I will say is maybe this card's not as important either, because I always have my Leader's Effect to draw a card every single turn, right? And then against Red Purple Law, you're not always going to get to pull this card off against them. So this spot is definitely open. And this might sound crazy, guys, but I might just swap it out for a 4-cost, the Kamazo guy. Let me bring him up real quick. Bring him up right here. I might just throw this guy in. Like, that might be the way to go from here. Number 1, it's more 2K counters. And number 2, if you get this card down against the decks that are real blitzy, real aggro-y, okay, well, you're just popping a card every single turn. Don't even swing with them. Don't even give them the opportunity to remove this card unless they have in-hand removal. You know what I mean? Just start popping things left and right. Because think about it. If you have this card down, Kamazo down, with your Leader's Effect, I know I mentioned this earlier, but you're popping a 4-cost for free just by returning 2 Dawn and doing -2 cost for the turn with your Leader Effect. This activates him, your turn once return effect, and just pops it. But everything else, like, I will say this, when I swapped over to this, like the full black recursion package with, Rebecca Sabo, they're a match made in heaven. We know what they do. Queen's just a great blocker. Brooke going with the Rebecca and all of that going with the Gecko Moria. Then, I added the Peronas here, but like I said, I'm probably going to, I might toss these Reijus out for Kamazo and just play Kamazo as if it's not a 2K counter, but then later in the game it doubles over as 1. Then I only have 1 decent, well, I got 2. I have 2 decent 2-cost and lower targets for my Gecko Moria. So I don't really have a problem with countering out early with Suru like I normally would. Normally with Suru, you don't want to counter out early with that. You want to save that as your last 2K counter just so you can, pop a bigger target if you need to. Because Suru plus Who's Who, that is a 6 Dawn turn that pops a 5 or less. You know what I mean? But you want to be careful too. One other thing I want to say is you do want to be kind of careful with this card, as good as it is, because you have to trash a card with the on-play effect. So part of that makes me want to maybe go if I were to toss out, let me just see something real quick. If I got rid of all of these guys, let me type in C2 counter 2000 and then bring up all the purple and black cards. Like, part of me actually wants to go. Where are they? Where's Kamazo? I just saw him. Yeah, maybe go 3 of these and like 3 T-bones. He's right in front of me. There he is. I almost feel like going something like this. Just straight up was like 16 2K counters or something. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is 16, 18. That's 18 2K counters right there. I don't even think that's crazy, to be honest, because look what they do. Like, these aren't just 2K counters anymore, guys. As the game, evolves, as the game goes forward, some of these cards that were originally just like utility 2K counters, no, these are bodies. Like, look at this. 4 costs 5K, 5 costs 5K, 5 costs 5K, 4 costs 5K. These are not just 2K counters anymore. And I think the direction going forward for King, I don't know if people are going to try this deck out or not, but I think this is like the direction where it's like, okay, you have the full black package to pull cards, back and forth, however you want to do it with your Gecko Moria, right? You're bringing back Rebecca's, you're bringing back Rebecca plus, where is he? Helmeppos. And then your Rebecca is going to bring back a Brooke, so that way your Helmeppo plus Brooke, however you want to say that, interaction there, that's popping a 4 or less. If you have 10 Dawn that turn where you can combo it with your King, you're popping a 6 or less. That's not a small number. And then, goodness, if you have this down as well, it just gets out of hand really quickly. You know what I mean? Because now you're popping even more. So that is something to consider. And I think this the Who's Who card is really not even that bad, because later in the game, you're going to be trashing cards like Onigashima once you already have one down. Like, if you already have one Onigashima down, all the ones you get after that, cycle out with Sabo, cycle out with Queen, cycle out with Who's Who, and you're good. You know what I mean? That's completely fine. And once you have one Kaido in your hand, I would not be scared to trash the others with Who's Who, with Sabo, or with Queen. Because you're only going to need one of these a game, guys. Like, realistically, you're only going to need probably one of these a game. Because he's either going to win you the game by just wiping their board and establishing, like, a really strong tempo they can't deal with, or it's too late and you weren't going to win the game. You know, that's the only ways that I see it, really. Gecko is just that strong, guys, right now. It's going to be able to pull back a lot of options. You know, you're going to be able to pull back the Kamazos. You're going to be able to pull back, you know, the Rebecca Brooke combo, like I said, with the Helmeppo Subaru support. And yeah, then you just slowly grind them out of the game with a huge, huge board clear like this after forcing their hand. Because think about it, guys. You're dropping out a card like, what's his name? Gecko Moria, right? That's filling out your board with Rebecca's and Brooks and all this other stuff. And you're forcing them to fully commit so that they can even deal with that. And then instead of running the 10 cost Kaido Lin, then let me bring that card up real quick. Oops, Lin. Like this card right here. Yes, this card is good. Pause it and read it if you don't already know what it does. But this is not as good for what we're trying to do, in my opinion, as this card is. Because, remember, this card does two major effects. It wipes the board, which is this card's effect, and it does Linlin's effect, the 10 cost yellow Linlin that makes you gain a life and they trash a life. However, there's one major problem. This is a when attacking effect. This is a on play effect. This is a -10 Dawn. This is a -6 Dawn. That's why in this deck, I don't need I don't need Black Maria in this deck. I don't need it because I'm only going down to 4 Dawn and then back up to 5 immediately with this card, with Onigashima. And then the following turn, I'll go up to 7 Dawn plus 1 to 8. So it's like I'm pretty much just losing one turn realistically. But on that turn that I go back up to 6, you know, when I untap to go to 7, going to 8 with Onigashima, I can still play out my Sabos. I can still play out my Queens. I can still play out any card in the deck except for Gecko Moria. So that's the way that I see it, guys. And another thing, too, I want to mention, if you're going against, like, Red Purple Law or one of the new Zoro Rush decks or something fast, anything blitzy, okay, well, then just trash this card with your Who's Who effect, right? Trash this card with your Queens and your Sabos. No problem. Don't even save one of them. You just have to win the board, and then you can slowly win the game with this card's effect because you remember, you're trashing 2 Dawn to draw cards. Now, some cards that I did, let me see if it brings up if I type in Conquest. It doesn't. I think they called it Heike on here. Let's see. Purple. Okay. I'll just have to bring up all the purple cards real quick. It's the event. I was running the 6 cost event. That was Animal Kingdom Pirates Linlin locked. It's like Big Mom Pirates, Animal Kingdom Pirates locked. I was running that card in here. We go all the way down here for it. This one. Okay, they're calling it Hakai Ocean Sovereignty. Sorry, guys. I think I was calling it Conquest of the Sea. My apologies. I got mixed up. But whatever the case is, this card is very, very strong, but it had one issue. I was losing with this card against rush decks because, okay, for 6 Dawn, yes, I can pop 2 bodies. That's nice. And it's going to pop any of the rush decks bodies, right? Like pretty much anything. But there's a problem. I'm going backwards 2 Dawn. And that means I just lost an entire turn. So, like, this card for me kind of ended up being more of a win more card, in my opinion. I'm not saying it is. It depends on how you build the deck. Like, please do not misunderstand me. But with the way that I'm building this deck, why not just get straight to 10 Dawn and just annihilate everything and then drop down my big body? And again, like, oh, but this will help against rush decks. Sure, it will. I'm not saying it won't. But at the same time, I'd rather just pop those early on and just not let it get to that point where it's out of control. And then if the game goes on long enough, okay, well, then I still just drop the big boy. Really good stuff there. Another card that I did want to mention I want to try is in the deck is this card. I just didn't get around to trying this because, well, I mean, okay, I don't want to say I didn't try it at all. I probably tried it a few times, and then the deck I just kept losing, where it's like, okay, this is like too slow or something. And who knows? Every single day is different, right? One day you might be going against like nothing but mid-range and control decks, and then the next day you're playing like tons and tons of aggro decks. It just depends on what people are playing on the sim. And this card, I think, is really, really good but it becomes hard to try to fit it in for what we're doing here because I went with the Gecko Moria package. And guys, my personal opinion, this is just me talking, this is just from my personal experience, I like the Gecko Moria package better. That's just me. And one thing maybe I should try, let me also bring up the black cards as well. So we got all the purple cards. I loaded all those, and let me let the black cards come up, because the other card that I do want to try more, I don't even think I tried this card in the deck, was the 9-cost Kaido. I just saw it as like, okay, is that card as impactful as Gecko? The answer to me is no, by the way. Not that it's a bad card, but it's just, I don't see it as impactful as Gecko Moria. And then the other thing is, like, is that card as impactful as even the 9-cost Kaido? Like the purple, okay, they're both 9-cost Kaido, but you guys know what I mean. This is the 9-cost Rush Kaido that pops a 6, and this is the 9-cost 9K that it can trash a 7 and make them discard a card, but this one has Rush. So it's like, I kind of like this one more, guys. And I know that's a preference thing. I'm not trying to say one is stronger than the other. They both have different functions, right? They both function differently. But for what I'm trying to do, I kind of just like this card better, but then that was slowing me down. You know, if I wanted to go with this, it'd slow me down for this one. So maybe I should mess around with this card or the 9-cost Lindley. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like you have to pick or choose. Do you want this full board clear, or do you want to do things that are a little more cutesy? You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'll make them trash a card, and I'll trash a 7. It's like, okay, I get it, you're KOing a 7 or less, and hey, with your leader effect, you're popping a 9 or less, right? I'd rather just destroy the whole board and have a 10-cost 12K. This is the hardest character in the game to remove, right? Well, not just this guy. Any 10-cost 12K is the hardest characters in the game to remove. I'd rather have this. Because, hey, the bottom line is this. If they have a Raigo, or a Kingdom Come, I think is what it's called, or if they have a Red Rock, or if they have Stussy or something, your card's going away anyway. Like, this is a 9-cost 9K, yep, it's going to go bye-bye. And this is a 10-cost 12K, it's going bye-bye with a single card nowadays, right? Like, with a 1-card answer, it's going away. So I would rather get some kind of massive tempo off of that turn than just play out, you know, something that's a little bit smaller, I guess. I don't know, that's just me. And you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I'm very interested to see what you guys say, to hear what you guys have to say. And what direction do you think the deck should go? Because another card I messed around with at the end there was Isho. Like, and it was pretty nice. Trashing 2 cards from my opponent's hand is always a good thing, and then -3, I can get with if I have Isho down, my Brook can basically do whatever he wants, right? Because I can now combo that card with my leader effect. I'm popping a 6 or less with just that with that simple interaction of attaching 1 Dawn to my character Isho. Where'd he go? Attaching 1 Dawn to Isho, using my leader effect, I can pop a 6 or less just by bringing this guy back into play. You know what I mean? Or something like that. You know, like for example, if I were to play out a Rebecca later in the game to bring it back. Same idea with you know, if I attach 1 Dawn to Isho, I keep looking for him in the deck. I have him down here. If I attach 1 Dawn to Isho, my who's popping a 6 or less. And if I use the leader's effect, now I'm popping an 8 or less. You know, and you combo with Subaru, it's a 10. There's so many ways to do this. Same thing with T-Bone, by the way. If I have Isho plus Helmeppo plus leader, I'm popping a 10 or less with him, right? Because it's 2, 4, 3, 6. Yeah, so that's 10. Crazy. Really good stuff there. I found this list or something around here to be the most efficient, give or take a few cards. Like I said, you guys saw the list before I just changed it. But this was the most, how do I say it? This was the most, what is the word? Success I had. Like, this seemed like it was the most consistent list. I will bring up, like, one more. I think it was this King 9. I think this was, yeah, this was the list y'all saw at the very last game. This was the list I was running. And then I think all I did was I traded these 2 out for Jacks. And I traded these 4 out for Who's Who. That was the only change. Because I do like Who's Who a lot. Who's Who is really good. But it's like the trigger's the best part about it. And just popping a 3 or less, it's really good against rush decks. And that's why I ended up trading it out for the T-Bone. But this was the list y'all saw at the very end. But the other deck I just showed, the King 9 J, I think I called it. I just put random letters on there. Sorry, guys. This one I think was slightly better. Because, again, with Rush being so prevalent, at least from what I'm looking at, it was nice having the Jack. Because he can just pop anything. You know what I mean? Or not anything. He could just pop all the little guys like left and right. Who's Who can pop the little stuff too. So I did make that change. But other than that, this list is pretty much kind of where I landed. and then you're going to have the choice. Do you want to run more 2K counters? Do you think the Reiju is necessary? It might not be. Maybe we try out that Albert guy. Maybe we try out Albert plus King plus one-legged toy soldier. There's so many different directions to take the deck, and I want to know what you guys have to say about it in the comment section below. But I'm done rambling about it for now. Okay, now we got to go over the part of the video where we check out art. We check out some art. I know a lot of people are probably going to tune out for this part, and that's fine. I get it. We're going to be checking out Toki here. Because, guys, I have to say, the way that this card came out, let me zoom way over further like that, was magnificent, right? Whoever did this guy here, Shai Nanahara, whoever did this card did an absolutely incredible job. And I really like the full art picture better than I like the actual, like the zoomed in alt art version of it. I know they're the same, but man, it's like you almost hurt the piece when you get rid of the way this hair turned out, how it's like just completely in the wind, just totally, you know, how do I say it? This piece, it's meant to show just like, you know, she's just like, she's got her hand close to her heart here. She's full, you know, she's full of like joy, right? Just purely like just, you know, how do you say this? She is so joyful in this occasion. She's just in love with the moment. You know, she's just fully in this moment. And I have no idea what this is from in the manga, so I do apologize for that, guys. I can't tie it to any scene. I just know she's a Wano type of character, right? Now, real quick, let me take the drawing tool so we can kind of look at some stuff in particular. So this is one of the... I feel like the triangle is like one of the most dynamic compositions you're going to see. This is what I mean by the triangle. Like, y'all see how the subject matter is directly in the middle here. Okay, you see it? That is like the entire... That's what's catching your eye for the most part, right? And behind it, we've got another kind of shape going on as well. It's sort of like a triangle as well, inverted on it, where it gives her more of it gives the whole picture like more fullness, right? It's just taking up the entire page now. But the main thing again is like, and you see what they're doing. You can see it right here with like the cloak, the way that her I called it a kimono last time. Hopefully that's what it's called. But this little kimono right here, it just kind of frames the entire picture. And the way the head is, like, see how it's like just off to the side, just a little tiny bit. It's just, you know, cocked just like this, just ever so slightly. And it just has this look of bliss, this feeling of bliss. The colors they chose. Let's talk about these colors. So these colors are outrageously subtle. They're like earth tone, very... I don't want to call them like dead colors. They're not that, but they're so subtle. They're not vibrant, and that's done for a reason. We've looked at cards that are more vibrant, but when you have this more, I don't want to call it dull. That's like it's almost like a cuss word, right? In art, that's almost like a cuss word. But you know, it has this effect with these the way these colors are is much more satisfying to the eye. They're more calming, right? And then and again, you see her in that blissful state, and it's just a simple matter of like, it's like a perfect execution where these little things back here, these I don't know if these are some kind of trees or what, but they almost give her these butterfly wings. Do you see that? And again, it's all captured in this like triangle here. The composition is so beautiful, and the execution of how they drew the person. Perfect. Like, it's absolutely perfect. You know, the hands are somewhat darker here. I don't know if that has something to do with the story. I wish they had lightened up this area just ever so slightly. The fingers look really good here. Everything looks really good there. And the color palette is just gorgeous. These very, what is that, like a seafoam? Like a seafoam or a teal type of green. And then all of these different shades of pink in the background. Awesome. Really awesome. Now, just jumping over here, it's just zoomed in on what we already looked at. And remember, guys, like I said, I want to see the full piece. This looks incredible, by the way. This piece looks absolutely gorgeous, okay? But I want to see the full piece. And look how much more interesting the full piece is, right? Now, yes, these are on little tiny cards, right? So, you know, you do have to, like, look really close. You have to zoom in like what we're doing where you see the pixels in order to get a full appreciation for it all and to break it all down. But, you know, when they have it like this, yes, we can see more details of this little tiny square that we see, this little tiny section, but I'd much rather see the whole entire thing. Really beautiful. You guys tell me the backstory on this scene, if y'all don't mind. Don't worry about spoilers. I don't care about spoilers. I only watch like the highlights and whatever happened last. So don't worry about spoilers. Or maybe say spoiler in the comments so someone reading might not get, you know, upset about it. But yeah, that's where I'm going to end on this one. Really beautiful. Again, I like to talk about composition. One last thing that I'll talk about, let's go back over to the full piece here, is the texture. It's incredible. the main thing is color when it comes to texture and the way that they executed it. Like, that's what it's okay. Let me say it like this. When I say texture, I'm literally talking about like a physical texture. You can give that appearance, that illusion, when you scratch up the painting a little bit like this, how they do with like some of the with like some of these little strokes here, the way they have it, and with shading. But in real paintings, like, you know, if you were to go to a museum where there's real physical, tangible paintings you can touch, you can see like this texture from the paint, and it adds so much to it. It gives it more character, and they kind of have that illusion going on with the textures on this actual on the clothes and on the hair, the face, and the background. Like, look right here, the way that pink is at the very top. Y'all see it? Looks great. Looks incredible. Okay, I'm done rambling. Let me bring up the patrons and we'll end it there. Okay. Thank you guys to everyone who watches my channel. Thank y'all to everyone who likes, subscribes, shares, comments, everything. I appreciate all the help you guys give me. You guys are amazing. Big shout out to my patrons who literally help me in like all the ways that they can as well. Yeah, they go stepping beyond just, you know, just checking out the channel. So yeah, that's it guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.